Right, we should have audio sound now. That's a fox. That's a fox, that is. I think so. It's not gone down to the chicken house. And the garden's full of snow and running dogs. Look at the hammock.
Once you lie down.
And the mushrooms. What? Wow.
It's usually up there, that, isn't it? Have a lunch. All in your pockets.
Oh, thank you. I don't think Nook was bothered by the snow, was she?
No.
Snook's not even worried about the snow. She just ran straight out with it, the river. She's supposed to be dying to go to the toilet. She's let down in it over there, Eddie. Is she? Oh, I thought she was let down in it. Yeah.
Look at the weight on here. In front of you.
Here she comes.
Wow. There's so many dog boxes go up and down there, isn't it?
Hi everybody, today I'm going to show you a new technique and it's block printing, and you need a piece of perspex or glass and block printing ink, which I am just putting onto the perspex now, and using my brayer to roll the ink out. It needs to be quite smooth, not sticky. When you first put it out, it's quite sticky, so I'm just rolling it out really so that I can put it onto a piece of acetate. Just adding a bit more there because I've realised that what I've got there is not enough to actually put onto the acetate. Sorry I've not been around for a while. At the moment I'm working 2 jobs. I'm working my notice off from one job, and I am working my new job, which is really fun. I'm teaching children in a farm environment. It's a new career move for me, something I've never done before, and it is a most awesome place. I'm just moving the perspex off. Right, let me get back to the job in hand. Right, I'm using mixed media paper here. I did try using watercolour paper, but it just soaked in and went splodgy, so it was no good. Now, after sticking the paper down, you stick the acetate, which has got the block print, ink side down on the plain piece of paper. And this is my image, and it is Pam the fawn, or it could be Mr. Tamlin from Narnia. I've already drawn him out, and now I'm using my Uniball pen just to go over the lines, because what it does, this is called monoprinting, and it's one way of a good way of doing like a cheap etching. You have kind of the similar effect as an etching, and this piece is going off to a very small exhibition locally in Swindon, and our theme is winter. And because of all the snow we've had and everything, I thought it'd be good to do Pan, because obviously in Narnia he lives in the snow, and with the lovely snow we've had recently, yeah, it's quite enchanting. Now you pull away the picture, pull away the sticky side down, and there it is, like an etching. Brilliant. Came out a lot better than I thought it would do.
Come on. Hey.
And look, what is this, Nook? Is it snow? A bit of colour, look at that. Isn't that pretty, those colours?
Well, hello, back again. Now, it takes a little while for the monoprint to actually dry, and some colours can take up to a week, and the black can take quite a while as well. It's rather tacky, so this has been left for about a day, and I am now, thank you, sorry, someone just brought me a cup of tea in. Thank you, Eddie. And I am now applying watercolour as the background, because it gives me a really whimsical look, kind of a soft wintry backdrop to the silver birch. Where I actually live, there is quite a bit of the new forest, and the forest where I live, the wood that I live, is, I would say, about 25 years old, and some of the section of it is silver birch, and they are one of my favourite trees. I used to have one in my old garden, a Himalayan silver birch, and they are one of the whitest of the plants, of the trees. Plants, what am I talking about? And as you can see, this is coming in, the watercolour is, you know, really giving that sense of a cold, and mind you, a bit jewel-like as well. So, as you can see from the videos there, when we went to the wood to take our dogs for a walk when it was really snowy, the branches were actually falling out of the trees. It's one of the worst snowfalls we've had in a long while, and it's kind of nature's way of trimming back the trees of all the weak and diseased branches. And as we were walking along, you could just hear the crack and these massive branches just crashing to the ground because of the weight of the snow. And in our garden, in our woodland part of the garden, we have lost a few branches too. Some of the trees have not sprung back, which is a bit of a shame. So, but as we were walking round, it reminded me of Narnia, and when you go through the wardrobe of Narnia into the winter wonderland, and as we could hear all the amazing crashes and the birds tweaking, and we could see all the deer footprint on the floor, it reminded me of Narnia and of Pan and Mr. Tamless the fawn in Narnia. And when it's really quiet and you can hear the cracking of the wood and the snow, you can imagine him prancing about in the wood, playing his pipes, his pan pipes. And so that was my inspiration for this piece. We have a art society called Alice Inspired, and every now and again we do an exhibition, and it's put in one of the most amazing pubs where I live, called the Beehive, no pun intended. And we are given a theme, and the theme we got this time was winter. And although Pan can be seen in the summer playing his panpipes and dancing through the fauna and flowers, I decided it'd be good just to have him in the snow. I'm still using watercolour for his locks, and it's quite nice. It's quite a nice medium to work with. I don't know why people are afraid of watercolour. It's just a case of building up the layers. It is unforgiving if you make a mistake, because even if you manage to get it off the paper, it still leaves a kind of a stain, because he has got a lot of pigment in it, because it's only the water that's mixed in with the pigment, unlike acrylics, which are plastic based, and so they have a plastic medium that mixes them. But you shouldn't be afraid of watercolour. It's lovely, and as you can see, I'm applying it quite thickly on his hair, almost like acrylic, but it's not, it's watercolour, and I'm only going to use the one coat. If you can hear a funny noise, it's my dog River going round and round. I'm just pointing at him to go outside. Every time I do narrating, he goes round and round and round and chases his tail. I don't know why. So also I did Pan a little bit sort of cross looking, because I wonder sometimes if he would be a little bit cross, because we would be standing all over his forest and interrupting his fun. So I didn't want him to be kind of gentle. I wanted him to be more godlike. So yeah, he is looking a bit more ferocious. And as you can see, the pale blue actually does complement the red of his hair. In fact, I quite enjoy looking at the process of me painting it. Sometimes I forget that it's actually me who's painted it, and I find it quite relaxing to actually just sit and watch the process myself. Strange to say.
It looks like lace curtains. So low down to the ground because of the weight of the snow. How thick he is on the branches. Look at that, you can't see them at all. Looks like they've been painted with a white gel pen. Huh? can see it. See if I can zoom in closer. There's been a robin, he's just flown off now, following our path.
So now the hair is completed, and this is actually acrylic that I am actually applying to the face, and you will notice that even though the ink has dried, by putting the acrylic, sorry my head's in the way, but by using the acrylic, is activating the block print ink again. It's a bit of a bind, and if you do ever buy block print inks, some of the colours, we've experienced a lot of trouble with the colour yellow. It's not a brilliant colour for drying. It stays sticky for ages and ages and ages. If you are going to do block printing, if it's mono printing or poly printing, which is where you use a polystyrene tile, I suggest that you put up like a little washing line in your studio or wherever you've got some space, and just hang it up, maybe in a dust-free zone if it's at all possible, and leave it there and just forget about it for over a week, longer if you've got the patience, because it's the most maddening thing to dry. And as you can see, it's kind of affecting the face a little bit, but I don't really mind that, because I really was looking for a kind of old etchy from an antique kind of place that you would find this etching tucked away in some corner. So as you can see, you know, the watercolour and the acrylic do really complement each other quite well. You can get some lovely colours using watercolours, lots of depth of different colours, and that's part of the reason why I used it for the background and the hair. And as you can see, it is beginning to look very much like an etching that you would probably find in a book somewhere. It does go through a stage where I'm not so keen on it, but then again, that's always the case in any artwork that you do anyway. Oh, sorry if I keep stopping, but my dog has gone out for a walk and has rolled in something, and she's wandered over to me and she stinks. I'm holding my nose until she walks away. Now what I'm doing here is I'm applying gold ink, not gold ink, gold size glue for gold leaf. Now this has caused a bit of a problem with this mixed media paper, because it's quite thicker than normal cartridge paper. Another learning curve, right? Learning curve number one is do not do monoprint on watercolor paper, because it absorbs all the ink and leaves you with just big black splotches. Secondly, if you want to put gold leaf on your picture, don't use mixed media paper, because you've got the same problem. What it was doing, it was just sucking in the glue. And because I use watercolour as well, there isn't the barrier that you get with acrylics. With acrylics, because as I said before, acrylics are plastic. They leave a plastic coat over the top. If any of you have used clear gesso, that is just the acrylic without the actual pigment added to it, and it does give you this surface. And so I had a bit of problem with this, because it just sucked up the glue and just dried before I got time to put the gold leaf on, which was really annoying. I'm now using white acrylic onto the bark of the trees, the trunk of the trees, and again it is pulling the ink again. I don't think, to be honest, if you were to paint over a monoprint, I don't know if there'd be ever a time where it would be safe to actually paint over the ink itself without it actually staying where it is. I'm not one that does a lot of monoprinting. I have done, monoprinting, but usually has a demonstration to show different art technique, so this is something that I'm fairly new to using in my artwork. And so no, I've not actually seen how long the drying time is, but I kind of like that smudgy effect, because it does look like one of those really old illustrations that you get in maybe an old Greek mythology book that has been maybe hand painted over. My mum used to do that when she was a child. With the books that she got, if the pictures weren't coloured, she would colour them in herself. And so I've got a couple of books that are coloured in quite nicely. The other thing that I really liked about the monoprint as well was, as you can see, the dark lines against the tree, those are the trees that are further back, and the monoprint does give it a nice depth of field, which is something that's part of the reason why I wanted to use it for this piece, was that the depth of the forest, rather than draw them all independently, just drawing them and then having the bark darker on one side, it does give that lovely feeling of depth.
No balls here, Nook. Nope.
That tree it snapped.
What tree?
Can't see it. Yeah, look to the branch going right the way through.
No.
See it coming up. Snap halfway.
There's the yew tree, our yew tree in the wood. Pavilion stove underneath, it's not. There's a river goes up to it and a nook. It's our big old yew tree. And there's no branches kill me now. This is where we're getting married under the yew tree. You see how wide it is. There he is. The big old yew tree. Oops. An English country, oops, postcard. Can you see the church? There you go. The Christmas card of 2017. And the folly in the woods. It's not there.
So I am back again, and I am now lightening up the face a little bit while I wait for the glue to dry on the gold leaf. Again, I'm just using acrylic just to knock back a little bit of the grey in the face. So this will be my last video before Christmas, and hopefully after Christmas, when I settle down a bit more, I will be doing more YouTube, hopefully. And don't forget to pop on to my Patreon channel if you would like to help me do this on a more regular basis. yeah, get more art supplies and do more videos. So that'd be great if you'd like to sponsor me in the new year. Also, if there's anything that you'd like me to do, you know, any suggestions, do let me know. I'm all about suggestions, because sometimes it's a little bit hard sometimes to find inspiration, especially when you're busy. So as you can see now, he's looking a little bit more paler. I will be doing a video on polytiles as well, because I quite enjoy doing that. Now the glue is dried, and I've applied the gold leaf, not on video because it gets stuck in my fingers, in my hair, absolutely everywhere. So I'm just brushing it off. As you can see, this is one of the, what I call the ugly stages, because you can't quite see what it is that you are doing. I wanted to do gold leaf rather than silver, just to give it a bit more of a richness about it. And gold leaf is a wonderful medium to work with. I do use it on quite a few bits of my art, because it just gives that little bit of luxury. And can I just say, my dog is sat next to me again, and she smells. Go on out, Anouk. Go on, out. I'm just adding my white gel pen for the whites of the eyes. Oh no, my Posca pen, sorry. And Zoe's come alive. Hello, Pan. I always love that bit, best of all about my work. It's like when you put the little eyes in, they suddenly have this little character that comes in. That's just the best part. And I must admit, faces are not my forte, but I'm becoming less scared of them the more that I do. I'm much more of doing animals and that kind of subjects. But beginning end of this year, I've decided that I will push myself more on doing the human face. And now I'm using my trusted Uniball to go back over the horns to give them some more definition, which is something that you lose on the gold leaf. If it was a larger picture, it would be a lot easier to put the detail in, but this is quite a small piece really. So, and I do have a little bit of trouble trying to get it to have that definition. And the Uniball was about the only thing that would go over the gold leaf. And now I'm just using a white Posca pen just to go over again to give it a bit more definition. And there we go.
It's a nook. Don't want to go any nearer because of there's the house. Let's see if I can, no, as near as I can get. It's the big house. There's the swans, the seagull, the reeds, and all the little seagulls. There comes the swallow. You see the church there? The church is just there. The swans. A nook. Gonna fall in the pond. What are you doing? You're doing angels in the snow. You're doing angels in the snow, a nook.
River, don't you go.
Here comes the swans. Here comes the swans. Do 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 do. You can see the song.
Look up. See the child outside.
What?
Go up and look down.
I don't want to, just in case it's a bit loose. Look, he's got his foot sticking out because it's too cold. He's not putting his foot in the water the first one. Look, he's got his foot out. Oh, I'm not putting my feet in. I'm going to let one warm up before. Look, he's waving to us. Look. Hello, Mr. Swan.
Bye-bye.
Right. Eddie Amby. So you can see who you are. Eddie and Bee. Is everything in my name, okay? All the beehives are asleep. all coated up for the winter. No honey for sale today. And there's the sheep. Over there is the sheep. The woods today, you'll never know what you find. We found a couple of snowmen sitting on a chair. There's one snowman. Hello, Mr. Snowman. There he is, sitting on the bench, looking out over the scenery. But there is another one sat over there. So let's have a look. It's a bit deep here. So I don't know who made them because they were here when we arrived in this. So maybe they didn't make, maybe they weren't made. Maybe they are real snowmen. Here he is. Mr. Snowman. Has he got any eyes? Oh. He hasn't got any eyes. Bless him. Bye bye, Mr. Snowman.